Hello, I'm Delia, and this is Shayne, my very opinionated friend. And I wonder whether he's had an opportunity to think about how you want to say what you want to say now.
I think I have. I mean, it's to put it simply, I think we need to find ways of coming together as opposed to finding ways of picking out differences, because if we continue doing that, then at some point, you know, we'll begin to lose where to draw the line. After a while, you'll end up prejudicing somebody or not liking somebody because they're left-handed or because they have a different color, a different eye color than you. And when you really think about it, if that's where we're headed, then it's preposterous. I think that we, for the most part, should accept each other's differences, and then just be. That's the most important thing, that you just have to be who you are. Just survive. Just be in the moment. Be yourself, and try to do the right thing for the most part.
But I mean, you've done many things, you know, many. Take us through some of the things that you've done from when you left college and.
Boy, where do I begin? I had an interest in art. I still do. In visual arts. I actually. When I was leaving school, both secondary school and tertiary education, we had this tradition where you kind of draw on the back of your shirts, your school uniforms, and do your. And I did that for money. I was good enough to actually make some money off of doing that. That prepared me more than anything else, because I studied sociology, business management, and economics. That prepared me more than anything else for what would be my first job after leaving Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, which was, I did photography for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years, I can't remember exactly how many. But it was a point in my life where I made a lot of major life-changing decisions. Rather than go into the corporate world, I decided, you know what, I prefer to do what I want to do as opposed to what people expected me to do. And when I say what people expected me to do, growing up, I used to hear that, you should try to be a doctor, or try to be a lawyer, try to be this, try to be that. And it plays a major part on you, and or rather a major part of who you might want to be, or you might think you want to be. But it's not until you get to a point where you start to know yourself. And when you get to that point, that's when you can make decisions about your life. I wouldn't say that I knew myself when I was 21 or 22. As a matter of fact, I think getting to know myself is a daily process, and I don't think one can truly know themselves ever. But getting to know yourself is I think, the most important part of being, because I mean, you're the person that you're going to be with for all your life, no matter what. You're not going to be not necessarily going to be with your spouse or your parents or whoever. You're just gonna be with you. At the end of the day, you have to go and look at yourself in the mirror and say, how are you today? Did you do good today? Did you, so in doing that, in getting to that point, that realization where I need to get to know myself, I made that decision to go on to other things. I decided not to go to university. As a matter of fact, I've told a couple of people this. It's a funny story. Well, not funny, but I think in my first year and a half of working, I had saved up about between $13,000 and $15,000, which I thought was
a lot of money
for your first year, first couple of years of working. And I was thinking, boy, I'm rich, at 19, 20, 21, thereabout. I can't remember. And that money, I said I was going to use that money to go to study economics. I looked at my bank account one day, and I know this car was for sale. There was a particular car that I wanted. And I was like, you know what, screw this. I want to get that car, because that car is going to make me happy right now. If I decide I can put off school for a year or what have you. But I got that car. I felt happy having that car. So for me, a lot of people would probably say, well, okay, you put off furthering your education to get a car, but it wasn't about the car. It was more about happiness and trying to keep myself happy, because what I wanted to do, I knew that I wouldn't love to be an economist or anything in that field. I wouldn't love to study business management and then to conform to what people expected me to do. I didn't want to be wearing a suit for, you know, as a career, and you get up and you go to work and you're like, oh my goodness, I have to deal with this or that. So I adopted from then what I consider to be, for me, a very leisurely lifestyle. Leisurely in the sense that I pretty much do what I like to do. I do radio. I did photography, as I mentioned. From there, I did graphic design, music production.
How did you get involved with singing? Because that's what people know you most about first. And I think now we are getting to see you more in terms of radio and so on. But people know you, used to know you, I mean, Shayne Ross, the singer.
It's something that I've always been doing, just like sketching and drawing, and I just figured out at some point how to get recognized and make money out of doing it, because it's, again, I've always, as far as I know, I've always loved to do it. I wasn't necessarily singing, but I used to rap and do dance hall and what have you, and then it just turned around that the evolution of myself as an artist and as an individual just took me to where I am right now, where I sing R&B. And if you had to tell me that like 10 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, nah, that's crazy. But again, it's about evolution and each day trying to get to know yourself. So you, at the end of the day, getting to know yourself is trying certain things that you may not be comfortable with at first, but trying them just for the sake of, okay, I might end up being good at this, right? Which, saying that now, it sounds like a contradiction, talking about the you know, studying economics and what have you, but there's sometimes in that same vein, you know what's not for you, what you don't want to do, you know. And I think being conformed to what I would call an orthodox lifestyle, not that it's bad, but it just wouldn't have been for me.
But you know, you said earlier about, you know, younger, making money, and then you do the things that make you money. You hear musicians a lot now crying they're not making money because people take for granted their talent, and they expect, especially we're friends, so they expect you to just do it. Do you experience that?
Yes, I do. But my answer to that is simply this. While I did mention making money, it's not why I do it. I don't do it to make money. It's something that I love doing, and the money almost feels like a bonus, really. You know, although, yeah, you want to know that your bills are covered and everything like that, but at the end of the day, that's not why you do it. I think if I wasn't getting paid for it, I would still find a way to do it. And perhaps I would probably be burning more midnight oil, you know, like doing it like late into the morning. Because when I did photography, for example, I used to leave the hotel at like 10 o'clock in the night, and then I wouldn't sleep until, let's say, about 6 o'clock the next morning, because I would be up trying to compose a song or trying to, you know, create some instrumental or something like that. And I'll be honest, now I don't do that anymore. So that sort of hunger, it's not that it's not there.
It's called age, darling.
Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's it. So I guess it's probably age. Thinking about it, probably is.
It is. But when we come back from the break, I'm going to ask Shayne some questions that I know the ladies want to hear the answer to. We spoke about the men. When we come back, we're going to talk about the ladies. See you soon.